Welcome to episode 15 of That's What I'm Saying, the podcast about hip hop, entertainment, dating, sex, relationships, and social issues from a sometimes ratchet but mostly woke perspective. So, subscribe to That's What I'm Saying, the podcast. We're on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Stitcher, your mama's house, your brother's house, your mama and them. I'm Shaun.
I'm Ny, y'all. What's up?
So, Ny, what are we calling this episode?
When you fuck up the first stone.
There you go. Then we got to get remarried, bitch. I love it. So, just a short, let's catch up on the weekend. So, I had a great trip up to New York to see you. We did a live show, y'all. So, you can catch episode 14, Hell Up in Harlem. It's actually on YouTube. Check us out there. Mm-hmm. See what these old ladies is looking like.
When you go to YouTube, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like and comment.
Absolutely.
What you feeling. Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, so getting into the ratchet minute, we got to touch on the Beyonce and JayZ, the Carters, Everything Is Love album. Did we not spend the weekend playing that? How many times did we listen to it?
I don't even know because it was just on rotate and it just kept looping around and around. We listened to it in the house. We listened to it in the club. We listened to it like all weekend.
What did I say? So this is the last of the trilogy. So Beyonce came out with Lemonade, and then JayZ did what was JayZ's album? The 444. Mm-hmm. So now they're back. I guess they're back in love again and celebrating Black love. And it's fine. So what did you think?
Well, first, before we get into the actual album, did you see? So they on tour and they have like their tour book that you can buy, and they have like pictures of them in different scenes or whatever. Uh-huh. But there's a picture of there's a picture of them laying in bed, and JayZ is like cradling Beyonce. Have you seen this picture?
Oh yes, where he looked like he should have on a bra. A girdle.
And why does she insist on making him a sex symbol? Like, I don't want to see Jay.
Don't do it, B. Don't do it.
I have no desire to see him with no clothes on. Like, I just don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
That hurt my eyes. It really did. I remember.
And why? This must be a time when they were making the twins, because I'm like, maybe they were just fucking and eating, because he never been that chunky.
Well, Jay, to me, I mean, I think he has height, but he looks like he don't ever go to the gym. He don't ever work out. I don't never work out.
Yeah, he looked. Didn't he say one of his songs? He was like, I don't. It's not leg day, or I don't have leg day, but I'm still running fit.
Yeah, it was a.
You don't never work out my leg.
What a mess. So, but we have to touch on just the strategic placement of this album dropping on this, was it a Saturday at noon?
At noon. Taking away from Nas shit.
Just totally eclipsed the whole shit out of that shit.
He did.
And I don't care what anybody says that it wasn't about that. I mean, I think when you listen to the album, listen to some of these tracks, I mean, everything was a jab at among some other people, but I definitely heard the jabs at Kim with her cornrows trying to be Beyonce Lemonade. Did you see that?
Yeah. And it's so sad because Kim wants to be Beyonce's best friend so bad, and Beyonce is like, bitch,
never in your wild. Never. Yep. You heard Jay talking about, I guess when he and Beyonce were going through issues, how he's like, I'm not leaving the house. I'm not going to the wedding. The house burned down. I'm gonna be here. And I really felt that. He's like, and if you can't understand that, we're not friends. Yeah. I love that. I love the fact that this album came as like a sneak. It was like a sneak. A sneak surprise. So can you imagine the NDAs, all of the non-disclosure agreements that had to be signed to make sure that this did not, Cool and Dre, all the collabs on this, nobody said shit.
Yeah.
At least from what I know. So, Beyonce got a partner in her petty because
she runs her shit. Like like listen to Beyonce do an interview. You would think she don't really sound that smart. Like, I'm not saying she's not smart, because clearly she's a fucking genius. She's brilliant. But listen to her talk, it's like she ain't that bright. But however, this bitch is smart as shit. And
I love that about her, because it's you can underestimate her if you want to, but everything is strategic. It's planned, whether it's people around her or she's actually doing it. It's so smart. I just want to read. I put a tweet on the Twitter. I said, when your NDAs got NDAs and you and your partner in petty beyond y'all niggas in Paris shit and do a black love comeback while at the same time showing all of God's sons and daughters, whose world is this? I know you didn't like that.
I really wanted to boo you. I really want to boo it. However, it's clever as shit. I like the little wordplay. However.
Woo! Woo! So the weekend was definitely it was owned by the Carters, definitely this past weekend. So
I read somewhere it was like, why JayZ and Beyonce have to jump Nas like that?
Oh man. Exactly. Ooh, that was hard. And and that just shows how petty they are. It's like, goddamn, ain't y'all over the beef? Nah. Wasn't that like 7, 8 years ago? 9 years ago? How long?
This is gonna be the elephant in the room all the time. Like, I don't think they're ever gonna get over this.
Ever. But I love it though. It made for man, that was must see music. It was so good. Like, Nas who? Nas what?
Oh, don't say that.
I know, I'm sorry. Not really though. All right, so you fucked up the first stone and we had to get remarried. I love it. So yes, that made the weekend. And then I didn't even tell you about my trip back to Florida with the weed tea. So
okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Never mind.
So did we not make a trip out to the Bronx?
We deep into the Bronx. We was in Mount Vernon, I think.
We were on the outskirts of Mount Vernon, borderline. Girl said that was North Bronx, and I'm like, no, bitch. Not
Mount Vernon.
North Bronx. It's deep. It is deep. We deep. We was deep.
I never even been that part of the Bronx.
Sitting in the truck with a transaction. I was like, I am really
I don't feel comfortable right now.
But it was so 2018 because everything was done through Cash App.
Yeah, I do. Okay. We do this.
And our Cash App is Twiz Podcast, just in case.
If you want to drop us some dollars.
There you go. But so I bought some weed. So I can only describe it as weed tea. So it looks like or like weed wine, weed water. So I bought the peach and the strawberry lemonade, and it is infused with THC, which of course is like the good stuff, the good shit out of the weed. Now, I'm not a smoker. I've never been. It just hasn't been my thing. But I was playing along. I wanted to indulge. What'd you think about it?
Well, I'm not a smoker. I have indulged in the past. But I currently don't smoke. But I did take a couple sips of it. I did feel a little elevated. But I only had like a couple samples, so I didn't have a whole lot. So I can't even really
say. Yeah, I think it kind of mellowed out. So here's the thing. The lawyer in me, I'm trying to figure out, okay, how can I get this back home? And can I sell it? Can I be a distributor when I get home? Like, come on, what's up? So through my research, I figured the best way my plan was to put it in my carry-on bag, because honestly, you can't smell. I mean, unless you're up close, you can't really smell it. I wrapped it really good. I put it in my carry-on bag. Flying fucking Spirit, they wouldn't let me on the plane because I was it's got a 45-minute cutoff, so it's 43 minutes or whatever. So I'm standing there at the at the gate, and he's like, you can go through, but you got to take your bags. So I couldn't check my bags. I'm like, oh shit. So I go to the bathroom, dump my weed tea, $40 in the garbage, right? All right. And then, I go through security, and I missed the flight. Basically, I'm standing there watching the plane, and I can't.
You dump your juice.
No. So listen. So I can't get on the flight. So I'm like, okay, bet, missed the flight. I go back to the bathroom. Luckily, the bag is still in the garbage. I go through the garbage, get my weed tea out, because now I can't leave out to the next morning. So my flight, and I'm leaving out of Atlantic City. So I get my weed tea out the bathroom, put it back in my bag, my carry-on. This time, I'm like, next hour, and I ended up going to Atlantic City. Haven't been in Atlantic City in about 10 years. Got to the Harrah's. I don't gamble, but I ended up, I think I called you because I'm like, I'm in Atlantic City. All I'm gonna do, I'm gonna, go and eat and have a good time. So the next day I'm getting ready to go to the airport. I got my weed tea in my carry-on, which is now I've paid for check bag. Now I'm gonna check bag it. And then something just came over me when I passed the post office in the Harrah's hotel. I said, you know what? Let me just send this home to myself and avoid all of this. I was nervous, so I shipped it home to myself. It hasn't got here yet, so I'm waiting for my weed tea. So all this trouble that I've gone in, because the law, and this is where I'm like, I might actually have to advocate, because in Florida it's only for medicinal purposes, so you can't. You can use it. You can have you can have weed for personal use, and that's fine. They kind of decriminalize it that way, but I can't sell it, and I can't have a lot of it. So that was my trip smuggling hash back to
you were a mule.
I was a mule. Woo, boy, I was sweating bullets too. Because I'm talking to like, no, take it out your bag. No, you don't want to check it, like. So, all right. So that was the story. So, all right, moving on. Can we talk about the not Kanye, the Drake diss track that did not drop?
Yeah, we can, because
Lord have mercy me.
Yeah.
So J Prince, or you remember this? That's the OG who was on radio and on TV, basically saying that Drake had prepared a diss track and he told him not to release it. So come to find out, that diss track basically has Drake talking on his dick and saying that he slept with Kim when Kim was married to Kanye.
Well, she is still married to Kanye.
While they were married, and that the reason for Kanye's first or second or whatever breakdown was because he had found out. God damn.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that part.
Yeah. So that's what I heard. So yeah. I mean, is there truth behind it? I'm gonna lean toward yes. I believe it. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean,
it makes sense, because at first when they were saying J Prince put a stop to this diss track, I'm like, why? This is hip hop. Like, why? You know what I'm saying?
It could destroy lives and careers.
Yeah. But if this is true, then this will be so destructive. I think this will send Kanye into a abyss. I think he wouldn't even be able to recover. Because this is his family now. He doesn't, this is his family. This is who he's leaning on.
For better or for worse, right? Yeah, I agree.
He's already not real stable mentally. I think this will destroy him.
But here's the thing. I'm like, the song doesn't even need to come out anymore. He's like, that little tidbit right there is enough for me.
Yeah, that's enough. And Drake did a whole 180. He came out with some song where it was like a Degrassi.
Oh yeah, the Degrassi reunion, which I loved. I was like, I'm upset. he's upset at getting shot in Degrassi High. That's how he got shot by the kid in the video on the show. So yeah, that's Kim.
This is who you wife. This is your wife. This is who you choose to wife.
Ugh. in the words of Pusha T. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So okay, moving on. What do we have next?
Oh, so who do we have? We have Nas. What are we talking about Nas? Oh, you know what about Nas and this whole Kanye thing. You know, I can't even reiterate enough how much of a Nas fan I am, and I know. I just always.
Although there'd be a threesome if AZ was involved.
There would be. I'm going on record to say that. No, it wouldn't be a threesome. We would have separate days. It wouldn't be a threesome.
All right.
No gangbangs happening. But you know what I really didn't like is, with Nas's legacy and all that he's accomplished and how he's revered in the hip hop world, I just didn't like that he was a part of this whole Kanye promotion run. I didn't like it. I didn't. And it wasn't even like he was the beginning of it or he was the anchor. He was in the middle. You know?
Yeah, it did not. I don't. As great as Nas is, and I told you this before, when the whole JayZ Nas controversy. Remember that? And there was an interview, and it was JayZ and Nas on the panel, and Nas is not. Sometimes he's not. He's not that verbal as articulate as he is in his music. He's not that verbal sometimes. So JayZ was sitting there, and they were interviewing, and this was at the time when JayZ was head of. Was it? I don't know what where he was, but he said, with an artist like Nas, you don't sign Nas to a label. Yeah. You partner with him. Mm-hmm. And it was, and I'm looking at the whole thing, and Nas is sitting there, and it's almost like, bro, you don't recognize your value. Mm-hmm. And that was what JayZ was saying. So, just as what you're saying, it's like, yo, Nas, for you to get caught up in this machinery that is Kanye or whatever is going on, it's like, you're better than that.
Yeah, really.
And it didn't come across at all to me in the music or just the way that it was handled, this whole, the whole marketing monster that, swirled behind it. It's like, you're better than this.
And then the whole promotion of it was so sloppy. Like he had this whole big, great listening party, which I love the idea of the listening party being under Queensbridge, and I love that part.
Yeah, but I don't want to see Kim Kardashian and the guy that looks like I don't know, her best friend. Like, I don't want to see that in Queensbridge.
Did you see on his Instagram? He had a picture, and it was like two queens in Queens.
Yeah, was it Lala and Kim?
Yeah, I'm like come on.
Let's revisit that. Let's think about that again. Two queens. You don't know what a queen is, then, bruh.
So I don't know, Nas.
I know you over there struggling because I know your love and affection for this man.
My homeboy sent me a text message and a picture. He was like, "I got you this T-shirt." It was a Nas T-shirt, and I was like, I was happy, but I was like, "Can I really wear this T-shirt?"
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. He hasn't gone the way of Kanye for me, but I'm good. All right. Anyway, moving on.
Whatever. All right. Anyway, so you know what I want to talk about? Jesse Williams. So he got hit. Now we thought when Khalees was Nas was ordered to pay Khalees $30,000 a month in alimony and child support, we thought that was a lot. Jesse Williams, he just went to court and he was ordered to pay $100,000 a month in spousal and child support to his ex-wife. So he makes like over $500,000 a month, but this is a lot of money.
Well, I think, because I used to do child support cases, and you got to look at it like the kid needs to live like the parent lives. And if you look at it, it's about 20% of what he makes. That's not
half his spousal, half his child.
So that's even less. Mm-hmm. So, then we're talking about 10%, which on the average, a parent should pay. The thought is, you contribute at least 33.33% of your income before taxes to child support to support your child. So he's actually paying way less than what the average would be. Pay 10%. Yes. But okay, I digress.
Yeah. So originally he was paying $33,000 a month in spousal support, and his argument was that should be for spousal and child support. And the judge was like, no. So his spousal support was increased to $50,000 a month, and then on top of that, he pays an additional $50,000 for his 2 kids. So that's a lot of money, but like you said, it's even less than what he's supposed to pay.
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot to us, but I mean, he's, as long as he's on that show, and if he doesn't make that type of money, then he gets it adjusted. But I mean, basically, it should go in line with what he's making. The kid it's like 2 kids, right? They have 2 kids.
Yeah,
they have 2 kids.
On top of that, when he was a struggling actor, she was supporting him. She was
exactly
in New York, supporting him and their kids, and he made it big and started cheating with some white bitches, and
and when they get on, they leave your ass for a white girl. Kanye already told everybody, and Kanye already followed his own lyrics.
Right. Kanye back then was rapping to future Kanye. Kanye was rapping to new Kanye. Didn't even know it though.
Ain't that the damn truth? Now he probably knew it. He's just like, y'all don't know it. Yeah. you gonna see.
Come up. And it's so funny because he if you look at his girlfriends, they gradually got lighter and
lighter. Yes, exactly. Because I remember the chick that he was dating. Was she from Harlem? Either she was from Harlem.
He was on a reality show.
Yeah, or The Hills. Was she on The Hills? Yeah, okay, so that's like Harlem in LA, sorta. But yeah,
another girlfriend. I think her name was her name Alexis? I could see her face. I can't think of her name, but she was fly as shit. Like, she was super fly. He was dating her, and they broke up, and then he moved on to Amber Rose. And I actually like them together. I like him and Amber Rose together.
I did, but I think she gave him a run for his money. I look at them now, it's like they don't even match. But okay. Why are we talking about Kanye? I'm ready. I'm done. Already done.
It's like one episode we should not talk about Kanye or 45. Like, let's not talk about either one of them.
Well, we did really good though. Like it was hard, even with the album that was dropping, Nas's album and Pusha T and the whole thing. But we did pretty good.
Yeah,
we did not talk about Kanye. Kanye. All right, moving on.
So I guess, are we in a woke minute yet?
All right, time to get woke.
Yeah, it's time to wake up. So this is this story, of course, this just kind of just puts a little spear in my little heart. So we have another police shooting. A 17-year-old kid was killed by Pittsburgh police earlier this week. He was actually shot in the back. So what they're saying, according to Allegheny County Police Department, the police were responding to reports of a shooting around 8:20 on Tuesday, and they found a 22-year-old man who had been shot, but he survived. So I guess they were out looking for the assailants that shot the guy. So the police put out a call for a vehicle that was seen fleeing the scene, and the officer stopped the car that they said matched the description, which they always say someone matched description. While they were detaining the driver of the car, 2 people jumped out, including the 17-year-old. And his name is, what's his name? Antwon Rose, sorry. Yeah, Antoine Rose. He was one of the 2 people that jumped out, and he ran, and the police shot him in the back. He was a student at Woodland Hills School District, and he was unarmed, and the officers were said to have found 2 guns in the vehicle that he fled from. The other driver, the 20-year-old driver of the vehicle, he was released from police, and the 3rd occupant of the car remains at large. And a bystander actually caught a video of the police shooting and posted it on Facebook, which I didn't see. I can't watch these videos antoine. But it shows the 2 people running from the police cars with their backs to the officers, and the police opening fire on them, and of course, killing Antoine Rose. So another police shooting.
And I don't want to become so desensitized to these things. And I actually saw the video that was posted, and there's, coming from a legal background, it's always, for me, you always question, there's always 2 sides of the story, but you're always looking to analyze things according to facts and the law. And my way of thinking has always been that way. But when I look at this and I look at this video and seeing where it was shot from and seeing what is on the screen, there's no question and there's no doubt in my mind that this was in cold blood. In other words, that this shooting, it was a murder. And I say that it hurts me to say that. And I'm the person who always tries to look at something, with I look at the facts. I look at everything, and you know that about me. And when I look at this, I can't explain it any other way than to say this is witnessing a murder, and that's it. So I am confident that, and that's what I have to put out there, that this Allegheny County police officer will be dealt with through the fullest extent of the law. That's what needs to happen here, because there's no way to explain it. I mean, these they were kids and they were running, running away, and that's they weren't running to the officers. They didn't have guns out shooting. They were fleeing the scene, which is, fleeing a car. And these officers were in pursuit with guns. And this child lost his life.
Yeah, but we've seen this situation happen before, where in my opinion it's been a kind of a cut and dry situation, like with Castile, where he was in the car with his fiance and their daughter, and his hands were up, and he was telling the police officers, "I have a gun, it's registered," and they still shot him. And it's recorded, and as someone looking at it, it's like, this is in cold blood. But what's happened to those police officers? Were they tried and convicted?
No.
It's like when we have these stories, it's like after we tell the details of the story, it's like I don't even know what else to say about it.
Yeah, and I'm at a loss too, because we can insert another name and like the facts kind of just read out the same way. So, what do we do with the police community? There's a huge disconnect there. We got racism, we got prejudice, we've got issues with training, we've got issues with recruiting, we've got communication issues, we've got all, there's so many things wrong here.
Yeah. I think it's like I just throw all the police officers away is what I want to say. But, I think the basis of the police, like the purpose of a police officer, the initial purpose of them was to protect landowners, plantation landowners. That was the original, purpose of them. And it just kind of evolved into what we have now. So, the original purpose is based off of keeping Black people in their place. And so the police officers are doing what they were established to do. It's to keep us in our place.
But at the same time, I mean, I'm not going to say totally do away with the policing
when I say that, but yeah.
You said what?
I was being facetious saying that, but yeah.
But because we do need, I think we do need law and order, and I do believe that. But I think we need to look at the people that we're putting in place to enforce those rules. And I would say this, when I was practicing, and I tell you, a lot of times when I represented, or there was a police or someone in law enforcement involved, there was always an issue of domestic violence. Always. Always. And I'm not, they just seem to be the most violent, and a lot of times they got away with it because that brotherhood is like stronger than the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
They were so tight.
And you know what I think also should be put in place because really for a police officer, if I'm not mistaken, is really you just take a test, and if you pass the test, you can become a police officer. Is that correct?
Yeah, but I also think that test, and somebody, I haven't read anything on it, but I can tell you, it has to me, pick borderline psychopaths or borderline sociopaths, people that can make quick decisions, life or death decisions in a little amount of time, and make those decisions in a way that takes away the compassion and the emotion from it. And if you look at, I've seen the police test before. So when you look at some of these questions, I think what they're looking for is someone, like I said, who can react in a split second without a lot of emotion to it. And it's almost like picking out or cherry picking sociopaths. That's what a sociopath is. It's someone who a psychopath actually acts on it, but someone who can operate and pretend like they're your friend and that they're acting with emotion and compassion, but really they've got to force themselves to do that. It's not natural for them. And I think these police tests, I think it looks for those type of people.
Yeah.
I mean, just in speaking, I have friends in law enforcement, and I don't want to say too much, but there's a certain mindset that goes along with a person in law enforcement.
Yeah.
Everybody's not cut out for that job, and there's a reason why. That's what I'm.
And I think for someone to be in that type of to be employed in that type of environment, you really have to desensitize yourself to a lot of stuff, because stuff that it's almost, I don't say police officers are not teachers, but sometimes even as a teacher, sometimes you have to desensitize yourself because you see so much all the time, and just imagine a police officer that's going into these different situations, not really knowing what the outcome is going to be. So they always have to be on guard. And they always have to think about coming out alive on the other side. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I do understand that part of it. I can kind of understand that. But at the same time, I think there's definitely a disconnect with police officers and the neighborhoods that they're policing.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it comes from that. There's no ties to the community. They don't know that this is Miss Johnson's nephew or Miss Johnson's grandson that's right here. He just got home from school. They just see a kid that's probably on the street, on the corner, just hanging out. Not knowing he just came from school. Maybe he just went to the corner store to get a soda and some candy, and he's on his way home. It's that part, that compassion that's missing.
Exactly. I feel it. All right, well, moving on, because I don't want to stay on that too long. I did want to touch on the death of XXXTentacion. The 20-year-old artist was shot and killed in South Florida. That's actually in Dania Beach, in what investigators said appeared to be an armed robbery. So did you hear about this?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I heard about it.
I was, I think living in this area in South Florida, I knew of him. He's actually a friend of mine. It's actually her cousin, her second cousin, that she's cousins with his dad. She's an Onfroy. So I was familiar with his music prior to his passing. I always felt, it wasn't necessarily like the mumble rap, but it was super emotional. It was sad. I mean, he actually had a song called Sad, and it was, to me, it was kind of depressing, to be honest. But I think in some of his interviews that I saw, and he was 20 years old, so you could see the evolution of someone who is, quote unquote, waking up. So we lost it's somebody's child, and I've said this on Twitter. There was a conversation, and we're just saying, we live in an era where we have killers like George Zimmerman, who takes our brown boys, took away one of our brown boys, and this man continues, to walk freely. But we play God when it comes to our own brothers and sisters. Our definition of street justice has nothing to do with defending us against our true enemies, which are outside of our neighborhoods and our borders, that come in, and kill, steal and destroy us. But we have no issue with taking a life of our own, because our lives are not sacred. We're so busy, and this is my issue with Black Lives Matter. So we're so busy with trying to make it matter to other people, and just, in light of the story that we just told with the police, like we got issues in our own communities with understanding that our lives matter to each other. And truth be told, we have issues with police brutality, the police killings, but Black on Black crime causes far more deaths in our community than police brutality does. That's the real truth. So we got issues on both sides of this coin.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with that. But I'm when people say black on black crime, I always kind of cringe a little bit, and the reason why I do, because when you look at the statistics, and I don't have the statistics in front of me, I can't even say that word right now. I don't have it in front of me, but most black people are killed by black people. However, most white people are killed by white people. Most Hispanic people are killed by Hispanic people. Most Asian people are killed by Asian people. So this whole, when they put the spotlight on black crime, yes, there is black on black crime, but look at it as a whole. Like, most people are killed by their own people. You know what I mean?
Right. And but to me, it's like what matters to me is what happens in my community. I get it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But I'm calling it black on black crime because I'm looking at the microcosm of us, and I'm saying us. You know, that's black people, brown people. It's us.
Mm-hmm.
We are killing ourselves. Yes, we got issues outside of our community, and we need to deal with those as well. But this is to me like, let's deal with what's going on at home before we step outside of our homes and try to deal with all this other stuff. Let's deal with what's going on at home. Why are our black boys, why do they feel so undervalued? Like, what is this is a fight over territory and money? You know, they said that, you know, this he was robbed.
But you know, if you I don't know if you really know his backstory, but this guy, I can't even really say his name, XXXTentacion, you know, he wasn't really a nice guy.
But what does that have to do with someone just jump a brother, his brother taking his life? And that's you know, people want to focus on, you know, because look, I believe in you know, I believe in karma. I believe in all those things. But taking that aside, you know, nobody lives a pure life. He had some issues, and I mean, he was 20 years old. I mean, I know there was the issue with beating up the girlfriend, and you know, the violence and all this stuff. He's 20 years old, and he was 20 years old.
He was a baby. He was really a baby, and you know, it seems as if he came from a troubled background. And who's to say, you know, he did some awful things to these women or woman. He did some awful things, but who's to say that he, you know, had he been given more time, yeah, would have changed his life around. You know?
So I'm just, you know, black on black crime to me is like, it makes me cringe because that's what's happening, and we need to figure out a way to add value to us. And we, you know, a lot of us this is what I said, that, you know, we need to accept responsibility for what's going on in our communities, even if we have bought ourselves into a life that allows us to leave our communities and we have insulated ourselves from what's really going on. We need to come back and address this, that Black lives matter to us. You know, we need to matter to ourselves. I need to look at you. If I can't look at you as my brother, as my sister, then it's very easy to take your life. That's what's going on here. I mean, obviously this man made a judgment decision that this child was worth more. His Louis Vuitton bag and whatever was in it was worth more than his life.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
And you made a good point about you know, when we reach a certain economic status and we kind of leave the hood. You know, people that are left in the hood are, you know, let me try to rephrase this. So I am a believer that, you know, you get a little bit of money, I'll stay in your hood, rebuild your hood, show these people that, you know, they're doctors that live here, they're teachers that live here, you know, they're business owners that live here, so that in our Black neighborhoods, we just don't see, you know, crime and drugs and disparity and hopelessness. You know, we gotta stay in our communities and build our communities up, so we can build our property values up, so we can pay taxes, so we can build our schools up. That's what's going to save us. We have to save ourselves.
We're saying the same thing. Exactly. So, all right, I need to do something else. I'm tired of being woke. Okay.
We had the weekend dick.
I don't want to be woke no more.
I don't want to be woke no more.
Woo, what do we got? What's next?
All right, we had the weekend dick report.
Yes.
This is the This is a very interesting topic. I'm curious to see. I think I kind of know what you're gonna say, but I'm curious. So let me get into it. So this is the question that was posed from one of our listeners. I was dating this guy for a while, and we broke up about 6 months ago with no real efforts of reconciliation. About a month ago, I met someone, and we've been out on several dates. We have a great time together. He has great conversation, a great sense of humor. And I can actually see this getting serious. I found out that he's friends with my ex, not best friends, but they've known each other for years. And I haven't told him that they're friends, that I know that they're friends. I don't know what I should do. Should I continue to see him and keep the secret, or should I tell him and risk losing him?
So what is she saying? So she's saying that
this new guy that she met and she's dating is friends with her ex. And so she's not sure if she should tell him.
Tell who? Oh, the new guy. Tell the new guy?
Yeah. Or
how serious was she with the ex?
Well, she doesn't really say. She didn't really say. She just said.
She broke up about 6 months ago, but doesn't say
details about how serious they were. She just said they were dating for a while. So I don't know.
I've been in that situation. I don't say anything.
I'm in that situation too.
What'd you say?
I'm in that situation too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Now I think it would be different because now we got Instagram. There's so much social media, but so you'll see a picture, of them sitting side by side or something. But back in the day, I mean, there's nothing to tell. And now it's come back to. I mean, in all actuality, it has come back to haunt me.
Mm-hmm.
Where it was like later, like, oh, you used to deal with you was with so and such. Like, oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot it was that old dick. What you bringing up that old dick for? Right. Like, I forgot. So I just feel like maybe it's different now with the advent of social media and how it's just kind of out there. Maybe you kind of have an obligation to be more transparent. Mm-hmm. But I'm speaking from a little bit, maybe a time that was before that, and I'm like, well, why?
Mm-hmm.
We want to just put everything out on the table. Like, yeah, I knew him back in the day, or I used to date him back in the day, but I don't see what. I mean,
I think it's different for women and men. I think for some women, it's like, maybe it's not a big deal. But I think for men, they have such huge egos. I think something like that, just kind of like knowing that this guy has been with my girl, I think it's an ego thing with them. So yeah. I think, and that's what makes them respond differently than what we would do. In this scenario, I've been in a situation like in my 20s, years and years and years ago. Mm-hmm. But now that we are more mature, and if you're single at this age and you're dating, you're more purposeful in who you date. You're more intentional and you're looking more for a long-term, I'm assuming a long-term commitment. So right. I think that this new guy, she really likes him. And should she jeopardize what could be a great future with this guy by keeping a secret? I don't know if she should do that,
Yeah, and one thing I learned, this was back in college, but I remember I had dated this guy for a while, and then we kind of broke up. Breaking up was not like a big thing in college, but in any case, then I started seeing his like one of his best friends, but we had to like sneak around because I didn't want to hurt I don't want to hurt number one's feelings. Right. So number two, we're like, we had to like sneak, and number one caught us. Mm-hmm. He followed us and like we had code language and everything. Like, okay, we would go to we would meet up at parties, and then we would like leave in our separate cars and go, okay, hey everybody, I'm leaving for the night, and he would do the same thing. We'd look at each other, and then we'd meet up at my place. And did I tell you this story?
I remember this story. I think I remember.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Talk about hiding in the tub, banging on the door. It was crazy.
But you know what? I bet you.
But let me tell you what, and I'm okay. So number one, he put me through it because we were friends, but we'd broken up, and he was hurt. Yeah. But I'm telling you, a couple weeks went by. Him and both of them were the number one, number two. They were best friends again. Me, I was out the picture. But what it taught me was there was no love lost. Like he was mad for a little bit with his best friend, but in the end, they were like best friends. They saw him in the gym. They started working out together. I'm like, what about me? I got what I deserved. So that's the moral of that story.
Yeah.
So it might not be worth all the smoke and mirrors. Maybe transparencies, which is always the best thing for me. Yeah. I'm just like, why does he need to know? But okay.
I'm all about. I don't like elephants in the room. I'm like, let's talk about this elephant so we can move this elephant out the room. I think I would have to say something because I don't know. I just like transparency, and if
I'm changing my answer because I'm leaning toward transparency. There's a part of me that's like, does he need to know? But being honest, just get it out the way because eventually it's going to come out in the light. Somebody's going to slip up. That you was dicking them down in the past. Facts. We need facts.
Oh, okay. So I kind of had, about this little scenario I had like years ago.
Oh Lord.
I ain't gonna name no names, but you know what is very weird? So I kind of was in a situation, and guy number 2 wanted to know in a roundabout way whose penis was bigger.
Oh Lord.
Girl, I'm like, I never answered the question but really?
Oh Lord.
It was so awkward. I'm like, you can't use me to measure y'all's dicks. Find somebody else.
Shame, man.
Yeah, this is in my younger years. I don't do things as such anymore.
Like you would think there was not enough guys out there because I'm like, what?
Man, like what was I thinking? Like what was I thinking? Like really? And in hindsight, I'm like, really in hindsight, I can't even lie. I really got played. I can't even front about it. I'm thinking about how everything happened. This is a fucking chess move, and motherfucker got over the pawn this chess move. Okay, in hindsight, and for a long time, Shaun, for a long time, I was mad because when I thought about it and figured it out, I was pissed for years about this. I didn't see it at the time. I was young. I was super young. I was green. And
what I tell you, that's how I felt. I felt played. I seen them up at the gym working out like nothing had happened. I was like, bitch, you're supposed to be on my side. Around, I'm doing all kind of covert operations. These motherfuckers is the best of friends.
Right. All right.
Okay. All right. Moving on. It is time for one of my favorite segments. I reminisce. So this is my reminisce. I'm gonna take us back to 1995. Mm-hmm. I got you stuck off the realness. We be the infamous. You heard of us? Official Queensbridge murderers. Yes. So 1995, girl. Shook Ones Part 2 off the infamous album. So I think about it. They actually had a Part 1 that came out in 1994, and then they kind of like remixed it. Man, I remember this video, and they were like 2 little munchkin dudes, man, running around, drinking outside. Both of them had the Hennessy t-shirts with the do-rags and the Timbs, and driving around in the Saab.
Probably sitting on pillows so they can see over the steering wheel.
Aren't they so cute?
JayZ got money stacks bigger than them.
Woo! Mob comes equipped for warfare. Beware of my crime family who got enough shots to share. This is a song. When I tell you, when you hear a classic, when I could play this right now today, which I do, it's still on heavy rotation, and we're talking about what 24 years later. Is that right? Is that right?
Just about, yeah.
Oh Lord,
you do math in my head.
It's hard for me too. I'm an English major. But this was, I mean, they had so many jewels, so many. When I'm getting excited just talking about it because this CD came out. I'm telling you how much of a banger this is. My mother had it. My mother was rocking.
Come through.
Like, my mother's like, put on that Mobb Deep. What?
Mama J, come through.
What? Mama J came through. She loved Mobb Deep, and I'm just saying, like, it was so hard when you look at. So you hear some of these lyrics, you know, I'm only 19, but my mind is old, and when things get for real, my warm heart turns cold. Jewels that they were dropping, and even though they were talking about gunplay, a lot of it was gunplay. You felt the realness of it. Yeah. Like, they didn't come to play. They was little dudes, but they were so real with it. And Mobb Deep, I told you, Prodigy is like, if I had to pick top 10, top 5, he's in my top 5 lyricists of all times. Rest in peace to Prodigy, because this song right here just it shaped a part of my life in 1995. I remember where I was at, boy. It shaped a part of my life. So this was the time when I was in college. I was probably like my second year in college, and Shook Ones came out, and I had an Acura Integra. So that was shit. And I'm riding around in New York City playing as loud as fuck. Like, you couldn't tell me nothing. I thought I was really doing things. So and I would do that now. So I don't know how it affected you, but it was a cornerstone for me. This is a cornerstone song defining Shaun.
Classic. It's a classic. It's
for yeah. I just, what can I say? So, and we were talking about the interview that Prodigy did with Questlove, which I said was phenomenal. I tell all my listeners, like, go and listen to this interview. It's 2.5 hours, but just an evolution of a man. You know, when you listen to Shook Ones and you know they were at a certain place at a certain time, evolution of Prodigy. You know, when he was in jail and he wrote that cookbook, he wrote another book, which Jail Cookbook. Yep, he sure did. But, and I said this before, his last album before his passing was the Hegelian Dialect. Alchemist did a lot of songs in there, and it really was, it's music with a message. And in light of what is going on today, we kind of, a lot of times the music does not have a message. It's just, you know, whether it's fun or it's bullshit, it's not. And his music really did have a message. And if you understand who Hegel was, which is what he based, it's a way of thinking, which basically, it's kind of hard to explain, but it basically says that, you know, in order to enjoy the good things that you have in life, you've got to go through the bad. So the bad is not there. It's not always bad. That's the best way I can say it. So
lesson.
It's a lesson, and his music really taught that, specifically the last album. So I'm just saying, go and listen to the Hegelian Dialect. I love it because you are seeing someone who has evolved. I felt like I grew up with Prodigy and Mobb Deep, and you know, it's such a shame that we lost one of the greats. So shout out to rest in peace Prodigy. Shout out to Mobb Deep, because you really were one of my faves. So all right, moving on. We're
at the segment where we're supporting our Black businesses, and
read it. You go and talk like you gonna memorize these lines. We are going to be at the revolutionary. No, let me stop.
Come on.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
So the spotlight today for Black-owned business is a revolutionary summer. And what this is? Are you laughing at me still?
No.
But you is.
Bitch, I is. Bitch, I might be.
What is that from?
It's from your boy. It's Gucci, right? Bitch, I might be. Bitch, I might be. No, it's a song. Your boo, Gucci.
All right. So the Spotlight is a revolutionary summer. And what this is, it's an intensive critical reading and writing program dedicated to shifting harmful narratives about Black women and girls through both meaningful study and creation of art and deliberate application of self-inquiry. That was a mouthful. So for 8 Sundays every summer, up to 21 young girls or young women gather to experience and discuss the creative works of consequential Black women artists. They do so under the guidance of author and facilitator Andrea Cole. And Andrea, we actually went to school together. We went to Morgan State together, and she is a phenomenal writer. Oh my goodness. She sends me like some of her short stories that she's writing and she's working on. I sing her praises all the time. So she's heading this initiative. She's also a certified special education teacher. She's taught middle school. She's taught high school. She's also taught college. And so currently right now, she is the program development director at Restorative Response Baltimore. So a Revolutionary Summer is a summer program, and it's open to young high school age students in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. So if you have some daughters, if you have nieces, cousins that you think would benefit from it, and I think all young girls would benefit from this, because, you know, in the media, we always see these disparaging images of Black girls and Black, you know, we never really see, and now we're seeing more Black women on TV and, you know, singing our praises and showing our beauty. But, you know, there's a lot that's missing. So what this program does, it just kind of infuses that into our girls. So if you have any school age girls that would be interested, definitely go to their website at revolutionarysummer.com. Their Instagram is a Revolutionary Summer. The summer program is actually going on right now. They may have a few spots open. So go to their website and reach out to them. But this is a phenomenal program for young girls.
Excellent. I love to hear that. And I love to see that see this duplicated, you know, so it's not just in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, not just for 21 young women, but hopefully this can be expanded. The curriculum can be expanded. I think it's a great idea.
Yep.
Great thing. So, all right. Well, I think we've come to that part where
the end.
This is the end. We've come to the end. So you can subscribe to That's What I'm Saying, the podcast. We're in Apple Podcasts. We're in Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Stitcher. We're in CastPod, which is a CastPod? I think it's CastPod. No. Castbox. Very, very convenient. I actually use it because you can listen to all of your podcasts there. We are also live on YouTube, so catch us on our YouTube channel. We are getting that together. Follow us on Facebook, please, Instagram and Twitter. Subscribe to us by going to our website, that's what I'm saying, podcast.com. Learn more, ask us questions. Weekend D, we're always open to new, we love new dick. So please send us some. Send us some on the Twitter. On the Twitter. We got to do our shout out, Ny.
Yeah, I want to shout out Vegas World Inc. He is our super producer. He also has a podcast, so check him out. It's called Hip Hop Now. You can check him out on. He's on YouTube. He's on Instagram. He's on Twitter. Thank you so much for listening, subscribing, and liking us on social media. Until next week. Take care,
y'all. Take care.
Peace.
Drop it on the random.